Thank you, Representative. Recognize the gentleman from Utah, Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Chairman and Ranking Member. The work here we're doing is very important, and I believe our dialogue, while some differences, really has shown a spotlight on our joint concern about fraud, right? And I appreciate, more importantly, the witnesses. We've all gotten the chance to get up and take a few meetings and a few breaks for sticking it out for a very long hearing. So thank you for that. Fortunately, so for some positive here, there are lessons that we can learn from states that have managed this very well. In Utah, where I represent, fraud overpayments represented less than 1% of benefits paid. I'm incredibly proud of the work done by our former governor, Gary Herbert, Governor Spencer Cox, their administrations, and the Utah State Legislature to create systems and processes that protect taxpayer dollars. That is our most sacred responsibility, I believe, back here in this federal role. And Congresswoman Spanberger and I have introduced the Preventing Improper Payments Act, and which we've prepared following an excellent study by the GAO about how we can safeguard taxpayer dollars and prevent more waste, fraud, and abuse in the future. Mr. Chairman, I would like to submit for the record a report from the Pandemic Response Accountability Committee called Pandemic Unemployment: How Much Has Been Paid to Fraudsters?
Without objection.
Thank you. This report is yet another demonstration of how much we don't know about the size and scope of this fraud. Many states have produced separate reviews on their own UI programs, and these reviews have sometimes included individual state estimates of fraud and improper payments. And up to 21 states, this report tracked, 21 states have reported approximately $58 billion in fraud estimates across these programs. And that's information that we have from less than half of the states. So if state auditors are coming up with those large numbers, I do believe that the national estimate of $60 billion GAO reported is quite low. Mr. Horowitz, I have a question for you. In these state reports, do we know how much of the funding identified as improper payments or fraud was federal dollars?
So for several of the pandemic programs, it is federal dollars that flowed to the states. There were other parts of legislation enacted that were to fund and to support already existing state programs. So most of it's going to be federal money. Some of it could be mixed in with state money. And as you indicated, what we found was that the work of the state auditors was critical to this effort, but states were calculating fraud numbers in different ways. So we'd have to go through state by state to break that down.
Yeah, excellent. The gentleman from Oklahoma highlighted something that I think Utahns feel a lot of times. We try to run things as responsible as we possibly can. I know there's a good faith estimate from a lot, but we do. Utahns oftentimes feel like, why, if we're being so responsible and have the data to show some of this, why can't other states figure this out? It's a continual frustration, and it's something that I hope to represent and shine a light on. My understanding was approximately 76% was federal dollars, so we're talking a total of close to $700 billion. I mean, these are sizable numbers. These are deficit-reducing opportunities for us, which is a huge responsibility of this committee, is to be able to find ways to reduce deficits. There's significant bipartisan opportunity, and we hope to be able to do that with this. We'll keep working on it. Do you get a sense, to what level are you confident that states are going after this money and recovering it?
I think a lot of the dialogue has moved in a positive direction over the last several years from the state workforce agencies in particular. We're seeing a lot more effort to work together, to do the kind of cross-border work that needs to get done, and interactions with state auditors, because they are so central to this process and important. And
Department of Labor's role, how would you describe or kind of like want to make sure that they do their role as much as possible?
So I'm going to defer to the IG there on that.
Please.
Repeat the question, please.
Just to what extent would you put the Department of Labor responsible and involved in making sure that states can go after and recover as much of these funds as possible?
Oh, they are very responsible and involved. I think one of the things that they begin to take advantage of is what we've kind of requested before, that people get more data access to the OIG. And once that began to happen, we began to see some improvement.
Excellent. There's another quick question to Mr. Turner, actually, about entrepreneurs. And they were at risk of being targeted quite a bit for some of this fraud. And we want to make sure that we're protecting that side of it and making sure that those that are honest, doing the work that they need to do, they have that capability. Is there any measures you recommend to help implement to prevent fraud without penalizing these entrepreneurs?
Well, I'll be a little premature in speaking to that now because we actually have work going on to take a look at that, and then I should be able to provide the committee something in the future.
The whole point of this is to make sure we do this better, we shine the light, and keep working on it. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Representative.